What up, what up, what up? It's your boy, Cardinal Red, and we are back for another one, y'all. Alright, y'all, so tried to make this video a couple times, we'll try it again. Alright, so the topic of this video came about while I was watching a fellow YouTuber, friend of mine, debate another YouTuber. Now, I won't start out by saying I ain't throwing no shade at nobody. But it sparked a topic in my mind that I want to talk about. And basically, the name of this topic is going to be DuckTales versus Pactards. All right, so where do I start, man? Okay, so he was basically making the guy he was debating, friend of mine. What's cracking to you if you're watching this? So the guy that he was debating basically was saying that Manny Pacquiao, that Pacquiao fans can't say that Errol Spence ducked Manny Pacquiao because Manny Pacquiao ducked Errol Spence for years, basically. And he gave a bunch of points. And, some of his points were that Pacquiao could have fought Spence instead of fighting Broner. He could have fought him instead of fighting Thurman. He could have fought him, instead of fighting Lucas Matisse. So let me start at the beginning. We all know that when Manny Pacquiao left Top Rank and he was on his way to PBC, there was the Lucas Matisse fight. He's saying that instead of fighting Lucas Matisse, he could have fought Errol Spence Jr. Now, here's the thing about that. Lucas Matisse was a champion at the time, and Manny Pacquiao, I think, still has some type of contractual obligation with Top Rank Boxing because if you know Manny Pacquiao and you follow his career, you know that the Lucas Matisse fight was a MP Promotions. It was not a PBC fight. It wasn't a Top Rank fight. It was a MP Promotion, and Bob Arum distributed the fight through ESPN. So I'm not sure why he did it that way. Maybe he still owed Bob Arum a few dollars, but that's why the Lucas Matisse fight went the way it went. It wasn't that I don't think it wasn't that he didn't want to fight Errol Spence, but he wasn't at PBC yet. So he couldn't fight Errol Spence at that moment. But in the meantime, he did get a belt from Lucas Matisse. So he gained something from that fight. And then he said that he could have fought, why did he fight Adrian Broner instead of fighting Errol Spence when he first went to the PBC? Now, here's the thing about that fight. The Adrian Broner fight was a better fight for Manny Pacquiao because of two things. He was playing off of Broner's popularity at the time, and Errol Spence wasn't as popular as he is right now. These are two different times. Earl and Adrian Broner fight came with a $10 million purse, I think, automatically for Pacquiao. And when you're a new guy moving to a new promotional company, you kind of want to get your feet wet first before you just jump in to fight whoever is considered the best guy over there. And I guess at welterweight, Errol Spence was considered the best guy. And then he said he fought Thurman. Now, here's the thing about the Thurman fight. Everybody considered Thurman a formidable opponent. Everybody said Manny Pacquiao was old. Everybody said Thurman was too quick. Thurman was too powerful. He was too big of a fighter. Manny Pacquiao had lost the step. That's what everybody was saying. Manny Pacquiao lost the step. Now, nobody was giving Pacquiao a chance in that fight, and he still floored Thurman. He still made Thurman look bad. Now, why did he pick Thurman over Spence Jr.? I don't know. I do know that I believe Spence fought right before Pacquiao fought Thurman. So there may have been a contractual obligation on Spence's part to why he didn't fight Pacquiao at that moment. And here's another thing. That it's true that Spence did pursue Pacquiao when he was younger. But here's the thing. When you're not as popular it's really not in the popular guy's best interest to fight you at that moment. It doesn't mean he's not going to fight you. It doesn't mean Pacquiao wasn't going to fight Spence at some point. But at that moment, it didn't make sense for Pacquiao to fight him because he was not as popular as he is right now. Now let's move on to some other things that were said. It was brought up that Manny Pacquiao, the shoulder gate. It was brought up about shoulder gate, and he said things like, "Well, you think that Errol Spence didn't do well in sparring? Well, how? What about when Floyd Mayweather got beat up in sparring, and then he fought Manny Pacquiao? What happened then?" Now, here's the thing about that situation. Now, everybody should know this if you follow both of these guys' careers. There was an interview that Floyd Mayweather did where he said these exact words, and I'm not going to quote them, but they were almost these exact words. I had information prior to the Pacquiao fight that he was injured. Basically, he was saying that 2 days, I believe he said 2 days before the Pacquiao fight, I already knew that he was injured. So it goes to say that the shoulder injury had to have been real if Mayweather knew about it. Why would he care if it was a fake injury? Then you can go back and look at that interview for yourself where Mayweather said, I had prior knowledge. 2 days before the Pacquiao fight, Pacquiao's shoulder was injured. So you can't say that Pacquiao was faking it. And he tried to compare that to Errol Spence's eye injury. And this is the reason I say Errol Spence is ducking. Errol Spence is ducking simply because of this to me. You could have put off the fight. You didn't have to cancel the fight. You could have put off the fight, said, hey, I'm going to go get with a doctor. I'm going to go get with a surgeon, and I'm going to find out how long it's going to take me to heal this and rehab it, and then we can put the fight on. You can take, 5% of my purse for time loss, and we can call it even. Take 5% of the purse, go hang out, chill out for a couple months. Let me rehab this eye, and then we can put the fight on. But no, he just abruptly canceled the fight. Not only did they abruptly cancel the fight, but Yordenis, you guys, is his opponent, kind of got almost a similar injury, and it just so happened that all that fell together. How did they get this fight purse agreed upon so fast? How did they all of a sudden come up with the same venue, the same fight date so fast? It makes it all smell fishy. It makes it all seem like this was done purposely. It makes it seem like Errol Spence is ducking. So I don't see why you're so confused on why people think he's ducking. And this all happened a week after Manny Pacquiao's video got leaked that he KO'd his sparring partner. How is it that you can't put those elements together? And there were other things that were said in there, referring to Pacquiao as being a duck, and that the so-called Pactards are kind of like ganging up on Errol Spence, and saying he's ducking when Manny Pacquiao is really the duck somehow. And it goes to say, because he tried to bring up the fact that, Manny Pacquiao's not ducking Terrence Crawford. He didn't duck Terrence Crawford. There's no boxing analyst that you can talk to who will ever say Manny Pacquiao ducked anybody in any division that he went through. He went through 8 divisions. He didn't have to duck anybody to get to the next division because he beat the best guy in that division and just said, you know what, who needs a belt? Who needs go around collecting all these belts, because it's going to take years to do that. And what he did was amazing, because instead of going after belts, he just beat the best guy at that weight, and he moved on to the next weight. And he beat the best guy at that weight, and he moved on. And he's been doing that for a while. He did that for a while, and then he settled at welterweight. And the thing about it is this. So you brought up all this stuff. You brought up the Mayweather incident, which we know, wasn't fake, because Mayweather himself confirmed it was a real injury. Mayweather should have never put that out there in that interview, that he knew 2 days before the fight that Manny Pacquiao's shoulder was injured. Not only that he was grabbing the shoulder and everything during the fight. And then he tried to compare that to the eye injury. Well, Three doctors. Errol Spence went to three doctors to confirm that he can't fight. Is what he kept saying. Is he can't fight. We don't know if those doctors told Errol Spence that he can't fight or if they recommended him not to fight. Now, I don't know the truth about that, the wording of that, but he kept saying they told him he can't fight. Now, I'm not sure if that's what they told him, he can't fight, or if they recommended him not to fight. Because if they recommended him not to fight, he definitely could just have postponed the fight, told Pacquiao, hey, take 2%, 5% of my purse, and you can have that for time lost, and then we can put the fight on in 3, 4, 5, 6 months down the line. Here's another thing. If this takes Errol Spence a year to heal, he should be stripped of the titles. He shouldn't be champion again in a year if he's had to take a year and a half off. When Manny Pacquiao took a year and a half off, he got stripped of the title. So he should be stripped of the title. So who's to say a year down the line he's going to still be champion? Who's to say what's going to happen in this Jordanians you guys fight? Who's to say Manny Pacquiao might not beat you guys and then go fight Terrence Crawford? Does he have to turn around and fight Errol Spence too? Does Errol Spence come back in 3 months and say, hey, my eyes healed, I'm ready to fight? Because if Errol Spence comes back in 3 months and says, I'm ready to fight, it makes it even more fishy because how does he get such a quick turnaround? How would he get such a quick turnaround? It makes it almost seem like he needs extra time to train after seeing that Pacquiao sparring KO. I think that sparked all of this off, man. Let me know what y'all think because I don't want to ramble on too long. But Pactards versus DuckTales. And I call them DuckTales because they're telling fairy tales, man. There's some stuff that's being said about Pacquiao that is simply untrue. And you can go back and check those facts out, man. No way Pacquiao ducked anybody. No way the shoulder injury was fake. He did have surgery on that shoulder, and Mayweather confirmed it for you. So, well, you can call us Pactards all you want. And I want to say one more thing. Captain 4G said we winning right now. We definitely are winning because nobody, no Pacquiao hater, no Flomo if you want to call him that, no analyst who wrote Pacquiao off after the Marquez knockout, no analyst who wrote Pacquiao off after the Mayweather loss, no analyst who keeps calling him old and washed up and saying he lost a step, no analyst who said he couldn't beat Keith Thurman is saying the same thing now. They're looking at a totally different version of Pacquiao, and people are analyzing this from a different perspective because of what we're seeing Pacquiao do at such an older age. It's not that he's getting old, it's that he's getting better with time. And I think Pacquiao should be respected for that. And I think the only people who do not like Pacquiao because of Mayweather, I think, and then they moved on to being fans of other guys. Those are the people who are really, really, really disrespecting Pacquiao, man. Salute to both of y'all, man. I ain't got no disdain or hate for either one of you guys. One of you I really rock with. The other guy I never met before. I think he had some real disparaging things to say about my homie. But at the end of the day, it was all done in the love of the sport, man. Both guys love the sport. They gave their opinions in the way they feel like was appropriate. I just wanted to give my 2 cents. Salute to both guys, man. Hit that like button for me. Please subscribe, man. Share, man. We want to make sure we make this Pacquiao fight one of the biggest fights ever, man. Hit that like button for me. It's your boy Cardinal Red, and we are out of here.